The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Monday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we have a great show on this Monday. We're going to have two live guests on the show today, and we start right off the jump with another senior from Archbishop Hoban. It is Kennedy Harrison, the last of the three seniors, but certainly not least that we're able to interview on the show. Kennedy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
For having me.
You got it. And the first question I have is, we quickly realized that you have a nickname down in Hope and they call you KO. And I want to know what the story is behind KO and why you got that nickname and why it's kind of locked onto you.
Well, I've actually had this nickname my whole life, and it's stands for my first name, which is Kennedy, and then my middle name, which is Olivia. And I think it's kind of stuck throughout not only my life but my basketball career too, and I really like it as well.
I think it stands for knockout because that's what you keep doing to opponents. Let's talk about your senior season and what it's been like this year, just trying to navigate all the emotions that senior year brings and all the last that you have to endure as senior year.
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really fun, and I think it's like also challenging sometimes when you're like, oh, this is the last time I'm gonna do this. This is the last time I'm gonna do that. You just got to make the most of every opportunity you have.
You had one of your last your last game, which was your last home game. You know, the last time you're able to play on that home court, it was a win to get yourselves in the districts. What was that feeling like? You had senior night already, so some of those emotions, I'm sure, were let out. But still, the last game on that court that you guys have spent so much time on, what was that like to get a win and punch a ticket to districts that night?
It was really cool, you know, and it was like kind of surreal to think that that was the last time we were us three seniors were ever gonna play in Barry Gym, but it was really good.
Now you guys go back into districts, and we've talked to your fellow seniors and the hunger to make it four in a row and the hunger to kind of live up to what the seniors of the past have kind of built into this program and the standard of this program. You're starting to get closer and closer. How much hunger do you guys have to really punch a ticket into the championship and win the fourth in a row?
Hunger is definitely there. That's been our goal all season, is to defend our titles, and I think that's definitely what our goal is, and you know what we have to do to accomplish.
One of the talking points with your senior teammates was the seniors of the past that have left this program and how much that you guys have leaned on their leadership skills to teach you guys how to lead this year in a fairly young roster. Talk about that from your perspective and how much you learned from the players of the past on how to lead that has helped you so much in leading this younger team this year.
Definitely learned like past 4 years how to lead, and I think it's important, especially this year with our younger team, to lead them and help them out. And yeah.
How would you describe your leadership qualities as a player? What kind of leadership qualities do you bring to the table?
I feel like I set a good example, and I feel like as a point guard, you know, like running the show on the floor, I feel like that's what a leader has to do.
You do run the point, and that adds another layer of leadership that you have to have. You have the trust of your coaching staff to be in that position. You have the trust of your teammates to be in that position. What has that done for your confidence being trusted with a position like point guard?
I feel like it's definitely increased my confidence knowing that my teammates trusted me to be that point guard, and my coaches trusted me too. So I feel like being a point guard, it definitely has a big responsibility, but I'm up for the challenge.
When you stepped into that role, what were some of the things that you kind of wanted to lock in on as skills that a point guard needs that you needed to kind of develop in yourself?
I just feel like getting my teammates involved, and not only offensively, but like to be a point guard, you also have to be able to guard a point guard. So I feel like I always try to emphasize on my defense as well.
And this defense that you guys played in your sectional championship game was absolutely suffocating. When you see a team, I mean, Cuyahoga Falls was mentally rattled. They couldn't get the ball in bounds on the baseline. When you see a team start to do that, does that really like gear up the defense and give you guys even more juice to know you almost like you're smelling blood in the water?
Yeah, definitely. It's like once we know we have them, it just gives us all the more confidence to do what we know how to do and do what we know we need to do. So yeah, for sure.
Defense doesn't get a lot of attention from the outside people because everyone looks at the stat sheets and everyone sees how many points everybody scores and offense sells tickets, all that stuff. But how much of your guys' defense do you guys take pride in?
That's our style of basketball right there. Defense turns into offense, and I just feel like that's our emphasis every day in practice, and the uh the defense will turn into offense. So yeah.
I want to know what a typical practice day looks like for you guys because you guys have really experienced coaches that have been there and done that. What does a Hoban practice look like for you?
Well, we do transition drills. We run over our sets, and we practice our defense, and yeah, just really hone in on what we need to do and our style of basketball.
In the last couple of weeks, if you guys have been getting ready for this tournament run, what have been some of the main focuses in these practices of things you guys have to work on?
Executing on offense and on defense, and just playing as one and a team.
And we talked about this young roster. Obviously, a lot of the girls are new to this stage when you get into districts and you get hopefully even further into regionals. What kind of advice do you give them as someone that has been there and obviously has won 3 districts in a row? You've played in Dayton and things like that. What kind of advice do you give the younger players that are stepping onto this stage for maybe the first time on a neutral site in districts?
Just to play their style, just play how they know how to play, and play as a team, and just do what we know we need to do to be able to win.
We also got to talk about your coaching staff, 35 years of experience on that bench. What have they meant to you, and what has it been like to be under them in your career at Hoban?
I've definitely learned a lot from them. They've taught me hard work. They've taught me mental toughness, and just that they've really taught me how basketball can translate into your life, and like how you got to work for what you want. And yeah.
You talk about mental toughness. No one goes through a career, especially on the varsity floor, as much as you have, without facing some kind of adversity and having to be mentally tough to get through it. What do you think has been your biggest formative adversity that you've had to face in your career, and how did you get past it?
I feel like faced a lot of adversity, like running the point, just knowing that I can run that position, and I feel like I've definitely gotten through that as I've grown up and matured, and so yeah.
You talk about life skills. What kind of things did you take from basketball that you take in your everyday life as the life skills your coaches have taught you?
I've definitely learned that like you have to work for what you want in life, and that things aren't always going to be handed to you, and you have to go out and get it.
You have a future in basketball ahead of you after Hoban. For those of you that missed our graphic and missed our announcement of where you signed, why don't you tell everyone where you'll be spending the next 4 years after you graduate from Hoban?
I'll be attending Westminster College.
Tighten up. I know our CEO DJ Oakley's a proud Westminster love, so he's gonna love that. When you were in the recruiting process, what was it about Westminster that made it the place that you wanted to be?
I just love the atmosphere there. Like all the girls are truly a family, and I could see that from like the moment I stepped foot in that gym. And the coaches are just they're just great coaches, and they really instill confidence in you. And I just really felt a part of a family there.
Basketball is going to be a part of your life there, but also you have the student of your student athlete. What are you going to major in, and what kind of career path do you want to see yourself in after college?
I'm still undecided right now, but maybe sports management.
Since you're undecided, what I'll ask is what kind of interests do you have? Like, what kind of things do you really like learning about? Are there like a broad sense of jobs, maybe a dream job that you have if you could do anything that you would like to get into?
I was thinking about psychology originally, but then I decided that might not be the best path for me. So now I'm thinking sports management, possibly.
When you think about your high school career and some of the classes that you've taken and teachers that have made an impact at Hoban, who are some names that come to mind of teachers that have really helped you along the way?
I think my math teachers throughout the year have really helped me, and I feel like all the teachers at Hoban honestly are they really care about you not only as a student but as a person. Like they'll ask me about basketball and my future, all that good stuff.
And we've seen the community of Hoban have your back countless times. Every time we come into a home game, it seems like there's a big crowd for you guys. What does that community support mean to this team, and what's it like to be in a home game and see all the fans?
I think it's really cool, to know that you have the support of your community behind you, and it honestly like gives you a drive to want to go out there and like show the community what open basketball is.
What are you gonna miss the most about that community and about playing for Hoban?
I feel like I'm gonna miss like the hometown fans, like the people who love Hoban and just support Hoban athletics.
We've asked you about the leaders of the past and what kind of legacy they left on you. Next year, if we ask some of the leaders of this team what they took away from being your teammate, what would you hope their answer would be?
I hope their answer would be that I'm a good teammate and someone that they could talk to about basketball or about life, and I just hope they would think that I was a good role model for them. And
Let's get to know you a little bit off the court. What are some of your hobbies outside of sports?
well, besides basketball, I have three sisters, so I hang out with them a lot, and yeah, I'd say that's probably my main.
All right, where are you on the hierarchy? Are you the oldest? Are you the youngest? Are you in the middle? Where are you?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, the baby. So having three older sisters, what's that like to always kind of be trying to live up to the things that they've done in their lives?
It's really cool. They all attended Hoban as well, so I really love when they come to the games because it's like I'm like living out their legacy at Hoban as well, and so yeah, it's really fun.
You're obviously a fierce competitor. We see that all the time. Which one of your sisters do you think is the most competitive with you?
I think my oldest sister, she's really competitive, and me and her are probably the most competitive in our family.
What do you guys compete in the most? Like, what's the one? Like, is it a game? Is it maybe basketball? What is the one thing that you guys really compete at the hardest?
Probably just like games and stuff. Like she's not super athletic, but she'll give it her all, so it's kind of funny.
What about the hangouts after the game? We know all these local hangouts from all these teams that we cover, that we're used to covering locally, but you guys kind of a new spot in Akron. Where's the favorite place to go after a big game in Hoban?
We always go to Starbucks, like either after, like before practice or before the boys' game, so it's fun.
One of our favorite things about getting into the communities is finding those hidden gems in a city or in a town where the restaurant that's a local franchise or something like that. What's the thing in Hoban that's like that local thing that's only in Akron or not found too many other places that is a cool place to be?
Wait, you said inside of Hoban?
Yeah, no, inside of the Hoban area or the Akron area that you guys like to go.
Well, there's like by Akron U, there's like a Paul Chipotle, and like I don't know, all those places are always.
What is your favorite pregame routine on a game day?
Just dial in and yeah.
What about a pregame playlist? What kind of music do you listen to get yourself psyched up for a game day?
But I'd be.
All right, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to shout out your support system and all the people that have been there for you throughout your career.
Shout out to my family. They're my number one supporters, and shout out to all the coaches in my career who have like impacted me, and those who continue to do so. So.
All right, Kennedy, thank you so much for hopping on today and letting us know a little bit about you and your career. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of your tournament run, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Kennedy Harrison, the last of the three seniors that we've interviewed from the Hoban girls basketball team. Hoban plays tomorrow in Perry for the district semifinals, trying to punch their ticket to their fourth straight district championship game. That game will be in Perry, and it will be against Shaker Heights in Perry High School on tomorrow. What am I doing? Tomorrow, and that game is scheduled to tip off at 6 o'clock. The other side of that bracket, if you're interested, is Green versus Hathaway Brown. We're pretty familiar with both those programs. They both played in the South Range Holiday Hoops Classic this year, so that should be a really fun district semifinal. Associated Hoban versus Shaker Heights. We saw Shaker Heights just barely get past Boardman in their sectional final, 46-43. Obviously, we were rooting for the Spartans and an all YSN district semifinal, but you don't always get to write your own story, unfortunately. So maybe Hoban can avenge the Spartans and get a win, and then we'll see who comes out of that bottom side. If it's Green, the two teams have played each other this year and it went into overtime. So if Green wins, that'll be the storyline heading into Friday. Their regional championship is Friday. So heading into Friday, that storyline is going to be that these two teams have met and they are on a collision path. But Hathaway Brown will have something to say about that. We saw them too. They want to kind of restore that program to its former glory. You realize that program had not too long ago a streak where they were just winning state championships like it was their job. Had a little bit of rough patch after their legendary coach, left the program. They took a few years to kind of get their feet back under them, but it's under them now. And this Hathaway Brown team is very, very good. We saw both them and Green at South Range, so that should be a very fun matchup in the district semifinals at Perry. Let's go into the recap of the weekend. Before we do, I want to preview the other interview that we'll have today. We had Kennedy Harrison. We'll also have Maddie Lesnack, senior from Springfield, live on the show at about 1:30. So we're looking forward to that. But before we have her on, let's recap the weekend's action. Obviously, we had the girls' sectional championships on Saturday. We had the end of the boys' regular season on Friday. So let's just start on Friday. We'll go real quick and say that Malvern beat Lisbon on Friday, 81-47. We saw Maplewood beat Mineral Ridge on Friday, 80-64. Brookfield was able to barely inch past Matthews, 55-53. Warriors make enough plays down the stretch. Fitch was able to beat Alliance, a very good Alliance team that came into Canfield and gave the Cardinals a heck of a battle, 60-56. The final score there, 62-36. We saw Mooney take care of Hubbard in the Battle of the Birds down in Hubbard. LeBray was able to beat Springfield on the road, spoil Springfield senior night, 57-49, the final score of that one. We saw Struthers get a win over McDonald, 79-65. Big offensive performance by both teams there. Howland was able to take care of Niles, 71-48 on Friday night. We saw Canfield dominate the Battle of 224 and get that trophy. The final score there was 76-44. We saw Salem beat United 76-48, the final score for that one. Southern was able to knock off Latonia and stay alive for about half an hour in the EOAC. They obviously needed to win and they needed some help from Wellsville losing to East Palestine. That did not happen, but Southern did what they could. They took care of their own business, and they beat Latonia 56-33. We saw Heartland Christian get the win 69-33 over the Academy of Urban Scholars on Friday. We also saw Crestview get the win over Valley Christian 55-49, the final score there. West Branch was able to get the win over Waterloo 63-33, the final score to that one. We also saw Wellsville beat East Palestine 73-38 was the final score there. That gave Wellsville the EOAC championship in boys basketball. So congratulations to the Tigers on that accomplishment. We move on to Saturday's sectional finals, and it was Hudson that knocks out Louisville for the second straight year, 43-21. The Explorers upset the Leopards in Louisville and move on to the district semifinals. Next up for the girls basketball games, that was Friday, excuse me. I saw the girls score and I was like, wait, we're on Saturday already. But Louisville and Hudson played on Friday night. So my bad on that one. We go into more boys scores now. 76-56. Warren JFK beat Lake Center Christian. We saw Lowville beat East 65-26, the final score there. Newton Falls got the better of the Bombers 68-64, a good game down in Wyndham. We saw Hoban go down to the wire against Lutheran West, but pull off the win 49-48, the final score there. East Liverpool beat Wheeling Central Catholic 72-71, the final score to that game. A really good one in that round. Uniontown Lake beat Boardman 64-56. Boardman went on the road and faced a very good Uniontown Lake team, fought pretty hard too. We saw Jackson Milton beat Columbiana 55-53, your final score there. Ursuline beat Bristol 73-58. That's the final score there for that. So those are your boys' scores from Friday. Now we'll go into Saturday's sectional finals. Badger is going to districts 65-10. They were able to take quick care of Sebring. We saw United offense have one of their best days of the whole season. 74-41, they beat Southeast on Saturday. They are going to the district semifinals. Southern was able to beat Warren JFK 49-33, your final score there. Southern's going on into the Division 4 district semifinals, excuse me. This one was surprising unless you watched Liberty play last year and you realize what they look like when they're healthy. Liberty beats Poland in Poland, 12 seed beating the 3, 64-43. I got to say, I wasn't shocked Liberty won. I was shocked that Liberty ran away with it. Just completely dominated the second half, particularly. First half, Poland was keeping pace. The offenses were both going pretty well. Sienna Smith hit a half-court shot at the end of one to give them a 19-10 lead after one quarter of play. Poland came back and really had a good second quarter. They went down by 3 at halftime. And then in the third quarter, Liberty just made their adjustments pretty well. They stopped turning the ball over as much on the half court. They executed their offense a little bit better. They rebounded a lot better in the second half, held Poland to one-and-done opportunities. It was just the second half was a clinic as far as Liberty goes and how you dominate basketball. I was really impressed by that because one of the talking points in this game going into it for me was if Poland keeps it close, then what's Liberty's depth going to look like? What can Liberty do when Poland rotates another 3 or 4 in more than they can? Liberty only had 8 girls on their varsity roster, and really they rotated 6, really. I mean, 7 if you're lucky, but 6 was pretty much what they felt comfortable putting into the game. And in the first half, Watson and Foster both got into a little bit of foul trouble. Watson had 3 fouls at halftime. Foster had 2. So going into that second half with a 3-point lead and a couple of people in foul trouble, my biggest worry on Liberty's side was, if they get into serious foul trouble or somebody fouls out, they really don't have a bench player that can come on and fill that hole. There is no one on that bench that can take what Demi Watson does for that team and replace it. So if Demi Watson fouled out or had 4 fouls early in the third quarter, I think Liberty would have been in trouble. But props to the Leopards. They came out, not only did they play good defense in the second half, they played clean defense in the second half. They had 2 team fouls in the entire second half. Poland had 7. So you look at that, they played extremely clean defense. They played up and pressure defense. They didn't give Poland a lot of room on the half court side of things. Another big factor in this game is the fact that Liberty was just bigger than Poland. Like at almost every position, Liberty had a height advantage, and normally that's an issue for most team. Like if you have a height advantage, that's going to be, it's going to be something you have to overcome. But for Poland especially, because they like the trap on defense, they like that half court trap, rotation trap zone, whatever you want to call it. That's what they like to run. But you can't trap girls that are taller than you. They know what to do with the basketball. So not only are they tall, but they're also athletic, and they're not going to panic when they're trapped. So really, all Liberty did was stand there and just kind of, here you go, here you go. The traps never bothered them. The thing that bothered them more than the trap was ball pressure, which Poland just couldn't get enough of in the second half. The first half, they had several live ball turnovers that kind of worked against Liberty, but I think Liberty's ability to hit some shots and not let Poland take the lead was the key for that first half, because they came out of that second half. There was no confidence issues. No one was panicking. Liberty has that tendency to, when things go a little bit wrong, to kind of train rail, to kind of, go into this downward slope. But it never really happened. Even that good second quarter that the Poland had to make it, from a 9-point lead to a 3-point lead at halftime. Liberty never panicked. They never came out. They never, started to make silly plays with the ball. They never got frustrated with each other. They never did any of that. They were mentally tough throughout the whole game, and especially that third quarter. They came out with a 3-point lead at half, and they broke away from it, and they won big, 64-43. They advanced to the Struthers District semifinals, where they will play Liberty. Talk about that Struthers District. There's a 16 seed, a 15 seed, and a 12 seed going against a 2 seed. So not exactly a shock in that Struthers District there. Not exactly what we expected, but that's all what makes basketball tournaments so fun. Western Reserve advanced to the district semifinals with a 59-27 win over Lisbon. We saw Canfield do what everyone expects them to do and just take care of their sectional. 71-16, they beat Niles. They advanced to the Streetsboro district semifinal. We'll have Lakeview go up, and they beat Mooney 37-28. How about Lakeview? What a night, what a day for them. Not only did they advance to districts, but Maggie Pavlansky also reached 1,000 career points. So congratulations to her on the sectional championship and 1,000 career points. What a career that she's had in all of her sports. Has plenty of milestones in volleyball, now the milestone in basketball. And by the way, she's a pretty dang good softball player when that sport comes about in the spring. But she's not done with basketball yet. They have a district semifinal. They will play Liberty on Wednesday. We go into some more scores. Garfield took care of Champion, 52-19. This is a Champion team that only lost to them by 3 in one of their meetings earlier. Actually, it was the other meeting that was at Garfield. So the G-men make a lot of good adjustments this time around and take care of Champion, 52-19, the final score there. Waterloo was going into the district semifinals with a 57-24 win over East Canton. Reminder, if you're looking for Waterloo, you can't find them in Division 4. They are in the district by themselves. They're the only YSN team in this district. It is the Norwayne district, and they will move on to the Norwayne district semifinals on Wednesday. We go into Howland. They boat raced Alliance. This was surprising. Not that Howland won, but that Howland just ran away with this game. I thought Alliance would be able to keep up, but 63-28, the Tigers mean business in the sectional final. Springfield, the top seed in Division 4, got the win 58-26 over Andrews Osborne. No surprise there. They go back to the district semifinals. They're looking to repeat as district champions. Another team looking to repeat as district champions is Salem. They got the easy sectional final win, 62-27 over Berkshire. We saw Matthews get the win 35-29 over Newton Falls. Laurel knocks out Columbiana 88-19. East is knocked out by West Geauga 51-34. Middle Ridge advances to the district semifinals with a win over East Palestine 49-26, the final score there. West Branch holds off a Edgewood rally. West Branch had a 13-point lead in the second half. Edgewood cut it to 2 before the end of regulation, where West Branch won 50-44. So a good win for West Branch as they go on the road and upset Edgewood. Marlington beat Girard 61-13, the final score there. Lowville advances to districts with an impressive win on the road against Chalker 45-25. Lowville will play Western Reserve on Wednesday in Middle Ridge. Those are your final scores for sectionals. Districts are set, and we are excited for them for sure. We have a special guest joining us at the other end of this commercial break. We'll be right back with Madison Lesnack from Springfield after this commercial break on Running Point. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. As promised, we have a special guest joining us again, and it's going to be Maddie Lesnack from Springfield. Maddie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we got to have our Springfield seniors on there going into the district semifinals again. So my first question is, obviously that was a goal coming into the season. You want to get yourself back to districts. You got to regionals last year. Now that you've kind of gotten back, what are some of the focuses of this team as you head into the district tournament again?
I think we really, we worked up to this point. We were really set on league. And then from there, we were set into going into the tournament, worrying about it. So for now, the practices we've been preparing, been working on a lot of defense and putting in some new offenses, trying new things that it may make our game easier going into tournaments or challenge the team a little bit more.
With how much success you guys had last year and the players that you brought back, was it ever hard to not look ahead and start to think about districts and start to think about what this team could do in the tournament during the regular season when you were trying to win the league?
No, I don't really think it was hard for us. I think the beginning when we started, we weren't back to the point where we ended, where we wanted us to be and where Coach Matisse wanted us. So as we started to practice more and we were more familiar with each other again after ending last season at regionals, we felt more comfortable and we're playing how we wanted to play. And we started looking past just the regular season and league and stuff and looking into tournaments and how far we're going to go and everything.
We've talked to Coach Matisse quite a bit. Every time we ask him about you, he talks about how you've never really played your natural position for Springfield, and he asked you to be a point guard, and you've taken that position and you've run with it. What has that been like to kind of transition from your quote unquote natural position as a basketball player and just do what the team needs you to do?
Well, when I was younger, I was always, since I was taller, looked in as like a post player. And coming into my junior year, after losing a couple good guards, my freshman and sophomore year, I played post and everything. Coming to my junior year, when he asked me to take on point guard, I was like a little iffy about it, but I knew if I practice and put in the time and everything, it's really going to pay off in the end like it has.
All right, so you definitely put in the time. What was the one thing that you focused on the most when you found out that you had to be a point guard that you wanted to develop in your skill set the most?
I think seeing the court, like before, like I knew everything about the game, but like I wasn't like aware of what was going around me. But like going into my junior year, I felt like I needed to like see who's out there with me, see who I should make like the most like I like worked on like assists and stuff. Like I was working on not getting the ball taken from me, like all that stuff.
You know, we see in the offense sometimes they are able to still get you in the paint and get you to post up a little bit. When that happens, how's it feel to kind of get back into that mode and do the work that you've been doing since before your junior season?
It's good. It's a little iffy sometimes because I'm used to playing outside, so it's like I love watching my posts get in there and fighting first. So when I get in there and get the chance, it's really exciting.
I don't know if you've made the decision yet on what sport you're going to play in college because you play all three of them pretty well. But if it's basketball, how much has the point guard position and being able to play on the perimeter helped you develop your tools that you'll need at the next level?
I think that like when I talk to like coaches and like different coaches just around the area, it's a lot easier being my height and being able to see the court and like knowing what's going on and the background I have with basketball. I feel like it's a lot easier than just saying you take a freshman and throwing them in at point guard and they not know anything that's going on, where to look, who's open, like anything like that.
As we just said, you are a busy athlete. You play all three sports. You play travel softball in the summer. You play, AAU basketball. You're in volleyball. What's it like just kind of juggling all those three sports and every season giving all your attention and all your heart to that one while still knowing that you're going to have the other one that expects you to be at the highest level, at when you transition?
It's really exciting. Usually, like my summer, I have no free time. I'm either going to a basketball tournament around the area or I'm going to a softball tournament. There were some days that Saturday I'd be at a basketball tournament, Sunday I'd be at a softball tournament. It's just exciting, like keeping my like younger years just keep going and not really just like wasting time laying around playing on my phone.
Playing all those sports and being that busy, a lot of kids are like, man, I would get gassed out like doing all that. What do you do to avoid being mentally drained and kind of falling into that trap of gassing yourself out?
I think like during the weekend when I have like tournaments and stuff in the summer, I try during the week maybe to just like relax because I have a pool, so like relaxing around the pool or just hanging out with friends, like trying not to focus so much on sports that like my regular life, like not being able to like function with that too.
All right, so when you're that busy, you have to have a primary sport, right? You have to have one that you pick over the other one. Do you have a favorite right now? Do you have a favorite one that you'll decide if there's a weekend with this and this and this, I'm gonna pick this one?
Usually it's basketball, but like if I'm in like a primary like season and say I have like a basketball tournament, but then I have like softball. If I'm in softball season, I'm usually gonna pick that sport, but it's usually basketball I choose.
Obviously we talked about your AAU. You play with a great team with a lot of familiar faces around the YSN family. What does AAU do for you when you're developing your basketball skills and being able to play with and against so many talented players?
Well, I played AAU. I think I started when I was in fifth grade, and I played for a while with just a couple like local, like bigger schools like Canfield, Poland, some Boardman girls. Like I played with just a bunch of those, and then I stopped playing for a little bit, but came back my junior year, and I went to play with the Ohio Lakers. And just seeing the way they play and how it reflects how I play, and being able to just like all come together as a team, even though we're not technically like a regular team, like during regular high school basketball, it feels really good.
Being a part of a travel team with softball too, you're able to expose yourself to different people from different schools, different backgrounds, different way of looking at things. How has that helped you develop kind of your social skills and your leadership skills on a team to be able to take anyone from any kind of lifestyle or any kind of background and be able to lead them and get to know them and kind of just build with them?
It helps a lot actually because like if I was just playing with all Springfield like the girls that I've known since 4th grade, like the 4 seniors I play with, JC, Emily, and Peyton, I like know them pretty well, that it's like easier that I know how to talk to them when they're upset, or I know how to like communicate with them. But when playing with these other girls from different schools and stuff during travel, it shows that like not everyone plays the same, not everyone like functions the same, that we have to like be open minded about how like say one person takes a comment while the other person takes it a different way.
When you are in Springfield and you're able to square up against one of your Laker teammates, what does that feel like to be able to go head to head with them and put some bragging rights on the line?
It's pretty fun actually. I love playing against a bunch of local girls that I know since I've known them for so long, and showing that like what our regular basketball like high school team pulls up from us, and then like what like travel pulls from us.
Is there any kind of friendly trash talk that goes along when you guys compete against each other?
Not really trash talk. We might get into it a little bit with each other, trying to like show off some moves or something, but no trash talk.
When we see you when you can out supporting your Laker teammates. So I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit and ask you, who's your best friend that doesn't wear the Springfield uniform?
Oh, I don't really have like one best friend, but a big supporter, like two big supporters that I've known for like since I was in 4th grade would be Ella Gregorino and Cami Rome.
Now, here's another one. Who's someone that you play against that you haven't had the chance to play with in travel, but if you could pick them and bring them on your team, or even someone that maybe you don't play them at Springfield, but you know they're good. Who's someone that you would love the chance to play with on the same team?
Oh, I think Savannah Prosick is a pretty good player from Lowville. Just the way that like she sees the court and everything, and like the way she gets with their team, I would love to get a chance to play with her.
You have a chance to meet them in the district championship as they're squaring up against Western Reserve as well. When you think about now the goals here, you're in districts, you're fighting for a district championship, trying to get back into that spot. Does it start to get a little bit more, crunch time? Like it's every game could be your last, and we have to take everything not for granted, maybe as much as you would in the regular season.
Yeah, our coaches like to like really push us in practice, and they're like, this could be your last practice. Like you need to be playing how you're gonna play in a game. It's not just we're taking it soft in practice or taking it soft in the game, because like no one knows like this could be our last game, or this could be the last time on like this court, like anything like that.
When did the fact that you're a senior start to really set in with you? Like this could be the last game. This is my last season with Springfield. When did that start to really set into your mind?
Definitely I think when we got to like the second half of like league games, when I realized like, okay, this is when I need to turn it up, and this is when like you need to start finishing out these league games, and then going into like senior night was like a big part. Like it shows that like this is like my last like time playing with these girls and on this court, and like going into tournaments and everything, like knowing like if like something goes wrong, then this could be like the last time.
What will you miss most about playing for Springfield and putting on that jersey and being able to represent that school system?
I think just like the way like I think like practices, like it's just like fun. Like sometimes like we're very serious like in practices, but then like there's a part of us that like we just mess around, like the way we act towards each other. Like there's like it's just like the bonds that I've shared like with everyone. It just like it like leaves like a good like legacy there for me.
All right, so Coach Bailey, ever since basketball season started, he's been egging me on. Because when you have Maddie on, you have to have her pronounce something. Like you have to try to make her pronounce something. I'm not going to put you on that spot. I'm not going to do that to you. But I am going to ask, what is one word that you have always struggled spelling or pronouncing, even like growing up? Like you cannot get it right, you can't spell it right, maybe, or because everyone has that one word. What's that one word for you?
I mean, when I was younger, I had a hard time pronouncing like synonym. Like I
Oh,
would
yeah.
call it synonym and everything, and I could not pronounce it.
But you got it now, it seems like.
Yeah.
So we've talked about your future in athletics. What about your future as a career path, future as what you want to learn about after high school? What are some things that your future might hold in that regard?
I've looked at a couple different majors. I haven't really like set on some. Like I've looked into like sports medicine, psychology, but like I've kind of been focusing on forensic psychology, but I'm not like set to a college I'm going to yet.
What made you kind of lean into forensic psychology? That's kind of one of the off the wall, answers that we get for that question. What made you interested in that?
I don't know. I see a lot. Like it's like a major that like no one really I love like going into like a basic like business or anything, but like looking into some of these like going into my junior year and looking into more majors and stuff and what you could go into, I just like wasn't interested in like a whole lot. Like I was set on going into like sports medicine because I'm always around like it. Like we have like a really good trainer at Springfield that I love to talk to about it and stuff, but like being around it so much, I feel like I got like a little tired of like seeing that like I have to go through all these like injuries and doing everything. So like looking into like different things like psychology and like what goes through the brain or like anything like through that, you know.
Forensics is all about solving things, taking a clue
Yeah.
and how good are you at puzzles and trying to figure things out like that kind of thing? Are you good at that?
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of mind puzzle? Is it crossword, Sudoku? What kind of things do you like to is in the puzzle category?
I mean, I do a bunch of them. I used to do puzzles when I was younger a lot. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what rubbed off on me or
Um, what are some of your hobbies outside of sports? Because you play so much, you're obviously always at a field or a court somewhere, but you have to have something that takes your mind off those sports. So what is it for you?
I mean, I like spending time with my friends a lot. I like going to, even if it's just like going to like support like my boys' team or just supporting like my other friends playing. Cause like some of the chances that I have like a game the same day or practice at the same time, it's like hard to get to those. So like when I have the chance, I usually try and like focus on going to those, seeing if a couple other friends want to go.
What's your favorite sport to watch as a spectator?
Well, definitely basketball, but I started to watch, I think, softball more. It's just like I know the game, so it's like, you know, and volleyball, obviously. I feel like it's just the sports I've been around, so it's like more interesting to me.
If you could throw your hat into the ring of any sport that you don't play, what sport would you want to try or start to get into?
Oh, I would love to try soccer, but just like I don't know if I could keep up with all those people. It's just I used to play when I was younger, but then I was like, I don't think this is for me.
I think Coach Kosek would love to have you on the team. When boys volleyball is going to be a thing in the spring at the OHSA, I'm going to put you back in your volleyball mode for a minute. What male athlete at Springfield do you think would be the best volleyball player if Springfield had a volleyball team?
Oh, I don't know. It would have to be, I'm thinking like someone tall. I mean, we have a pretty good athlete. I think Shawndell Gardner is a pretty good athlete. So I think maybe he would like play a good position in volleyball.
You think he'd go for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about all the things that you're able to do at Springfield, obviously the community backs you up so much. What's it mean to you to go to especially the home games and see the crowds that you get?
It feels really good. I feel like once we hit into like COVID and stuff, it was harder like getting people like right when we ended COVID, it was harder getting people out like to see us and stuff. And we started like Facebook pages, Twitter pages to show that like we're still playing, like we still have like tons of room. Like it's not like you have to be like afraid to come watch or anything. Like it just like makes me feel good like when we have a good crowd that are like there just to support and like make us feel good.
If anyone waves a bigger flag for Springfield girls sports in your family, I don't know who it is. I mean, they run the social media accounts. Your mom's always taking pictures.
Yeah.
What's Springfield gonna do when you're gone? And they have to find someone else to do all that. But all that aside, what's it mean to have this parents that have really dove into not just your career, but really poured their energy into your teammates as well?
It feels really good. My dad and mom have really been like the biggest fan of like me playing sports and everything, and like everything I do, they're usually so proud of me, and I feel like they like play a good aspect in like my other teammates' lives too, because my mom's always supporting, taking pictures, just talking to all the girls. Like she's good friends with their moms and stuff, so it's like easier. And then my dad's always getting on to them about some things, working on trying to get them to work on things. Just
Sometimes since I post pictures, the YSN, I get yelled at, like, how could you use that picture of my face? Has your mom ever posted a picture of you or one of your teammates and you're like, really? Really? Are we
Yeah.
using that one?
I yell at her all the time. I'm like, make sure I don't look bad in that, because it might look like I just like wiped out or I got hit. I'm like, don't post that, please.
Don't post that. All right, Maddie, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to also shout out the rest of your support system and all the people that kind of come out and support you, and whoever it is that you want to shout out, I'm giving you the time to do that.
I want to shout out definitely my parents, my teammates around like just the area. I feel like they're always like texting me, like congratulating me, wishing me luck on games, and their families. Definitely like my aunt, uncles, my grandma, she's a big supporter. She likes to come to my games. My brother. There's just a lot of people.
There are a lot of people. When you look into the crowd, who's the first person you look for when you're trying to find someone in the crowd?
I usually actually look for my grandma, because she'll text me or she'll call me and she's like, "Yeah, I'll be at your game later. Just look for me." And I have to make sure that she's there.
All right, Maddie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck in this basketball tournament, and we know that we're catch up with you again during softball season as well. So thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
You got it. Maddie Lesnack, senior and point guard for the Springfield girls basketball team, going on to play district semifinals in Grand Valley on Wednesday. All these district semifinal games and all these athletes we're talking to, they'll all be covered, which I think is so exciting. We're gonna have someone in all these games: Lakeview, Mineral Ridge, Struthers, Grand Valley, Streetsboro, Perry for home, and I'll be down there tomorrow. So the fact that we're able to cover all these district games is so exciting. It's you can't get it anywhere else. And you're talking to these athletes that are fighting for their goals. All these teams have a goal, first and foremost, win a district. I think district championships get kind of overlooked because now YSN is so used to seeing teams make the run to state, and obviously that's awesome. And if teams are able to make a run to Dayton, it's awesome, and it's the best thing you can do. But a lot of these teams are just like, I just want to win a district, because some of these programs, not the ones that we talked to today, Sobin's coming off 4 in a row and Springfield's trying to repeat, but there are a lot of programs in a district semifinal that you're going to see on Wednesday that are going for their first in a while, or trying to make that run, or trying to get back to a district championship and trying to win a district championship for the first time in a while for their program. These are legitimate big time, big stage games for a lot of these players, and the fact that every single one of them is going to be on YSN. This is what we set out to do. This is how we function. Obviously, YSN, and especially the heartbeat of YSN, is going through a little bit of a shaky time right now in East Palestine with the uncertainty and everything that's been going on, and obviously DJ is a big voice of that, and I'm sure you'll hear a little bit more about it and about the weekend that we had supporting the community members of East Palestine by donating water and donating our time on Sunday as a company. You'll hear more about that, but the fact that we're doing all that, but we still have guys that are able to go and do what makes YSN special is super exciting. You're not going to miss a minute of the district semifinals, which is not something that we could say a couple of years ago. I mean, I think it's time to realize how much we've grown a little bit. A couple of years ago, we could be at maybe 1 or 2 district semifinals, but we just didn't have the the manpower to span everywhere. And especially nowadays, districts are getting further and further away. I felt like our first year was pretty much Struthers, Mineral Ridge, Salem. These districts were close, but now that they're super districts, they have to be a little bit more neutral, which means they're a little bit more far away. You have a Streetsboro district in Division Two. The other district is in Uniontown Lake, and then you have Struthers, you have Lakeview, and you have Medina in a regional for Hoban Perry. These are not Grand Valley for Division 4. Almost forgot about Grand Valley. Not exactly like hyper local district semifinals anymore, but we're having a great team that is able to pick up and make sure that these teams get coverage. And for the most part, if I look at our schedule, I don't know if they're all green yet, but we should have everyone that's been on that team for the season be the voice of their district run. So that's exciting too. The fact that these announcers are able to build such strong relationships with the teams and to be able to follow them through their tournament run is something that's really cool here on YSN. That's going to do it for today's show, though. No games tonight. It is kind of the slowness of tournament time. Boys tournament starts tomorrow. Girls continue tomorrow and Wednesday. But tonight it is a time to take a breath before tournament starts. So no games tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to play an interview tomorrow, definitely with LeBray bowler Brogan Collins, who finished first out of 80 bowlers in the sectional tournament last week. And we talked to him over the weekend. A great bowling team in LeBray. They had the first place winner of the sectionals on the girls and boys side. And bowlers don't get enough limelight. And I'm a firm believer of that. So we got Brogan on, and we're going to play his interview tomorrow on tomorrow's show from 1 to 2. We'll also talk about the boys tournament and preview that and all the fun bracket breakdowns of the boys sectionals that starts tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow from 1 to 2. And we'll see you all then. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening. Take it easy. Take